what a powerful way to close out the day and this summit than introducing you to three incredible people that honestly I did not know any of these three gentlemen. I don't even think in 2018, right? I think we all met this year pretty much, right? Yes. So we have Joe Lentine, President and CEO of DENCAP. We have Matthew Wollack, founder and president of Noble Child. And we have Dan Mayer, founder and CTO of Auxiom, right? So we're just going to have a discussion, and one of the first things I want to do is recap the last 2 days. And so I want to start with Joe. And Joe, I want you to share a little bit about what you've gotten from these past few days before we get to the story of DENCAP. Each one of us is going to get a chance to share about their organization. I specifically picked these gentlemen because each one of their organization truly is leading with purpose and was founded with purpose. So we're going to get to the company stories. But before we do that, Joe, share with us, what have you taken away from these last 2 days?
Thanks, Davin. This is on, right? Okay. I was talking to Davin yesterday about our experience here, and I really wanted my management staff to come here and experience a leadership summit and be re-energized and for work and to get this as part of their training. We don't do a lot of in-house training, and so I thought, wow, this would be a great, conference for that. And then yesterday was focused all about the purpose of yourself, and I thought, boy, I'll be lucky if my employees come back today, or they all come to me with new purposes, because the conference was so great yesterday to really do a lot of self-reflection. We do dental insurance, and so I think about all the topics that we've discussed yesterday and today as how it relates to something is maybe boring as dental insurance can be if you first think about it. But, there's so much we gained. For me, myself, I'm looking at our product as an experience. We recently came up with You Deserve to Smile, Love DENCAP. And we want to capitalize on that as our business going forward, because it's really what we were founded as a company to smile. And the quality of the speakers that were here were so high and so engaging. And we really, when it's talking to my staff, all of them are leaving with some fresh ideas, wow, I want to hear more from that person. Everybody was on the edge of their seats for almost all of the speakers here. In fact, when we were talking, we were like, wow, I wish we could have attended all of the breakouts, because the breakouts were just as good as some of the keynote speakers. And so my hat's off to you on that. Pulling us together here at Life Remodeled. This is our third year now supporting Life Remodeled, and we love this nonprofit here, and the work they're doing here in Detroit is really an example of what could be done in other areas of Detroit as well as across the country. So thank you for bringing us here together. And this has been great food for my staff, and a conference I think we're going to be talking about all throughout the whole year. So thank you.
Awesome. My pleasure. So Matt, same question to you.
Yeah, so what did I take? What did I learn? Well, really in the first day, we had some nice conversations about the why, the what, and I realized that I have always had a why. My why is helping children and helping families. The way I've been doing and the what I've been doing has changed greatly over my 15 years, and you'll hear a little bit more about that as I explain my company. But it is always about the why. And why we're here, and finding that purpose has been great. And when we talk about millennials, yes, I get to be one of those millennials that we're talking about. Everybody that I work with is part of that slash generation. I'm part of the slash generation. And it's because we are searching for our why. And we can do a lot of what's with that why. So when people are looking at the millennials and how to work and how to interact with these people, understand that it is about their impact. It is about their purpose. And to allow them to be a full person is a good thing. If they want to take vacation to volunteer, if they want to take a day off to be with their family, if they want to start a new project, it's on us to give them those resources. It's on us to give them what they need to be successful as a person to fulfill that purpose. So this has just been a phenomenal experience. I thank PurposePoint, Purpose Summits for inviting me to be here. Thank all the volunteers. And really the other thing I got out of this was I've been well aware of Life Remodeled and worked with Chris Lambert before, but just coming to this building and understanding the opportunity here has motivated me to potentially put an office in this building, to potentially start training people in this building. And that's what this is about. So if you guys are taking anything from this, I hope it's your why. But if you're taking a little more, I hope it's about getting involved with Life Remodeled and fulfilling a purpose for other people as well.
Awesome. So Dan and I met because actually the first time I saw Dan was actually on a panel like this at the Auburn Hills Chamber of Commerce Talent Journey Conference, which happens every year in September. And so that's an event that I would put in your calendars in September, the Auburn Hills Talent Journey Conference. And Dan was doing a panel just like this. And I had never met Dan, seen Dan, and he had said something so profound about an organization and their values and why they started Auxiom. And I ended up like running up, taking a picture with my phone, putting it on LinkedIn, quoting him. And I'm like, I got to meet this guy. And then about a week or two later, we got breakfast. And I think, oh no, it was lunch, but it lasted 3 hours, so it might as well have been breakfast, right? But tell us a little bit about that statement, Auxiom, how you started and your why.
Sure. Thanks, Davin. So yeah, thank you again for being attentive and all being here, this late hour of the conference. And thank you, Davin, for doing this. This is amazing. Honestly, I will admit, my schedule didn't permit me to be here for everything preceding this. So, but I was kind of hoping everybody would say it was just horrible and I wouldn't feel so bad. But no, unfortunately, I've heard everyone have raving reviews. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to see the video or whatever I might be able to catch. But at any rate, to answer Davin's question, Auxiom started really, it was one of those amazing thoughts that you have when you're, taking a shower. You have nothing else really distracting you, and maybe you got music playing or something. But at the end of the day, it's just you and your thoughts. And I had gone through a period of time prior to starting the business. I'd had a long career in IT, so I'm a computer guy by trade. And I'd worked for some great people, and I'd worked for one person in particular, I guess I would use this word, a tyrant. I know it's a strong word, but it really fits this person. And it really showed me throughout my career how big of a difference where you work makes in your life. Because of course, you have a certain number of hours you have to sleep, you have time with family hopefully, or friends, but at the end of the day, what you do as your vocation and with your time is so huge. So I found myself thinking about, I've had a lot of experience and I'd like to put this to use really in a way where I can make others' lives better. And it just so happens I knew technology, so that was the way I decided to go with the business. The name actually came from a point where I had looked through all sorts of different names that had already been taken, and I was getting kind of a little frustrated. And so I ended up starting to get the thesaurus out and an actual paper version, and actually just looking through words and everything. I kind of set it on the sink. I looked up the word integrity. And I was looking through all the different words that also mean the same thing. And I got in the shower. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, but all these names are taken. All these websites are already taken. And I started thinking, okay, what if I make up a word? So I thought, well, what does integrity have to do with other things? And so I stumbled across in my mind, well, the golden rule, treating others the way you want to be treated. And so I thought, okay, well, how can I work that into a name? So I ended up thinking of, okay, well, and honestly, it is. I'm just going to say it's not a great family show, but I've been watching Breaking Bad, And basically, at the end of the day, there were a couple, the intro of that show had some elements, from a periodic table and in the intro. And I thought about it. I'm like, AU for gold, okay. And then I thought, okay, well, what's a word for rule? So then I jumped out, got in the thesaurus, was looking rule, and one of the words was Auxiom, A-X-I-O-M. I thought, well, hey, if I take gold and rule, put a U in there, Auxiom. And so we basically, that's our core kind of guiding purpose, is treating others the way you want to be treated, and whether that's our team members, whether that's our clients, our vendors, or even our competitors. It's treating them the way we would like to be treated. And that obviously hasn't failed us yet, and it's allowed us to really grow in a very big way. So,
Awesome. If you haven't figured out, he's very technological, so there was a lot of science that went into the name. That's why he's the Chief Technological Officer. So let's go back to Matt with Noble Child. Tell us the story behind Noble Child and how that got started.
I would love to. So everyone first needs to know my background. First, I'm a third-generation child welfare social worker. So my grandpa, Clarence Fisher, actually founded Homes for Black Children, which was the first African-American specific foster care agency in the nation. 20, 30 years later, my father founded Wolverine Human Services, which is the current largest child welfare and juvenile justice agency in the state of Michigan. We actually care for more children than the state does itself. However, in 2014, you may have seen it in the news, the state released a new state automated child welfare information system. Doesn't sound that exciting, but it's extremely important. It tracks every child and family that's in our child welfare system, foster care, adoption, abuse and neglect, whatever it may be. Well, the state has spent over $231 million on this system to date, and it doesn't work. It's broke. It was recommended that the entire system be ripped out, and it's creating havoc for CPS workers, for children and families. And so at Wolverine, we decided that wasn't the best case. We, in fact, decided we needed to do something internally, something better, something that we could protect our children and families and provide them the appropriate services. So we started building some technology. We actually started with an industry leader, and after a year and a half, we spent a lot of money, and it didn't work, just like the States. We couldn't pull reports, we couldn't get our data out even, and we were spending a lot of money. So I, being the young whippersnapper that I was, said, you guys are doing it wrong, we can do something better. And so they said, all right, tell us what you got. And I found Salesforce. In case you guys don't know Salesforce, it's the fastest growing technology company in the history of the world. And I was able to convince my team, the executives, very easily because I got 10 free licenses on it, right? So they're like, all right, kid, go see what you can do. And I did something impressive. I found the right implementation firm, and we actually configured the front end of this system to do all of our foster care recruitment and licensing, to track all of our referrals and intake for residential programs, and to track all of our donations and grants. And we did it in 3 weeks. So our executives, yes, it was really exciting. So our executives said, all right, Matt, keep going. Show us what you can do. Build out the entire system for foster care, adoption, and residential. So we came in and we did a demo for our foster care agency, and 3 out of the 10 people in the room cried because the first time ever, through technology, they could see a child's pathway to success. They could see every aspect of their job, not in paper files stacked this high, but on their cell phone. And it truly transformed the way that we would serve children. So I did one other thing during this time period. I acknowledged that Wolverine Human Services was not a technology company. No, we're a nonprofit company. Helping children to be victors is our mission. And so we acknowledged that we needed to create a new company to market and sell this technology to all the other nonprofits, as well as the state entities that were also doing this. So I actually founded Noble Child. And today, we're a partner with Salesforce.com, Salesforce.org, and Deloitte as the official child welfare information system on Salesforce. We're currently marketing 37 states to rip out and replace their child welfare information systems, as well as, I guess it's like 5,000 child-serving nonprofits in this nation. So that's, when I say I've had a lot, I knew my why, I always didn't know my what. I started in the community center, serving soup kitchen meals, working with youth after school. I then ended up in group homes, working with abuse and neglect kids and substance abuse kids. When I went to get my MSW, I turned to my family, my parents, and I said, I want to be a part of the business. I want to make this nonprofit a successful business so we can help more children and families as such. And then eventually, that path led me to Noble Child. So once again, to me, what was so phenomenal about this summit was we all have our why. And throughout our lives, our what is going to change over and over again. But as long as you keep that why center, your what is going to continue to be impactful, purposeful, and fulfilling.
So I said this when we did your interview a couple months ago. What blows me away about this story is you had no technology background, right? So you were the exact opposite of Dan in that capacity, right? Yep. But you had a purpose. And you said, it doesn't matter that I didn't go to school for this, that I'm not equipped for this, that I don't have the resources I need to do this. Your why was so big that you said, we'll figure everything else out.
Yes, and I believe it was Kim that said this earlier, yesterday, that if the millennial does not have what they want, they will go and create it.
That's right.
That's what we did. We went and created it.
That's right. So speaking of creating, we have DENCAP Dental Plans here, and your father created something pretty significant. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, back in the 80s when health maintenance organizations, which is a form of an insurance company, they were just starting to take form. And what my father recognized in the city of Detroit is a lot of the dentistry that was being done in the city was fleeing out to the suburbs. For whatever reason, people weren't going to the dentists in the city. And the dentists in the city were not doing well. Many of them were going under and considering moving their practices out to the suburbs. My dad partnered with a gentleman who formed a network of dentists in the city and pitched to the city of Detroit to say, let's keep the dentistry in Detroit and feed the dentists that are local. And one being one of the dental options for the city of Detroit employees, which is an account we still have today. And that's how DENCAP was started, with a network of dentists providing dental care to employer groups. And after that, we serviced more and more small businesses and other large clients. We have individual plans now with dental insurance. And recently, we are doing a lot with the Medicaid population, delivering dental care for those in need that the state pays for their dental. And you know, when we come into work every day, my employees love the fact that we're able to put a smile on people's face that maybe have hidden their smile for a long time because they've neglected their teeth because they haven't had the money to pay for their teeth. And that's a large part of our business. Or we're helping people out with dental insurance products that are very affordable. Because as you all know, when you go to the dentist, it costs quite a bit of money to get dental work done. And our dental insurance plans help keep that cost low. So our purpose of our company is to try to make sure that everyone can smile. Smiles are important. They're important for people to feel self-confident. They help people get back into work and prevent a lot of people from going to work if they can't smile. And we're here in the city. I have a great staff of people. We're very in tune and in touch with our people. We have a lot of, I like Dan's philosophy on do unto others as you would like done unto yourself. I often tell my people there's a lot more important things in this world than work. And I recognize that. And we have, we cover for each other when crisis happens in people's lives, and we gladly do that for each other because we know that if we ever have that, that the rest of the staff is behind us as well. And that's part of our fabric of our company. So it's a little bit of our story.
And we talk a lot about culture and engagement and measuring that. And you want to talk about measuring a culture of purpose. One, from the foundations, you know, family businesses can either tear families apart or they can draw them together. And your dad starts this company, and there's you, and you have two siblings who are sitting right here, right? Dawn and Angela.
And Angela had to leave, I must say, because
Okay.
she has 4 small. Oh, there she is.
Oh,
she's
she's still in the back,
recording.
right?
Oh, I thought
So
she's going to
there
have
she
to leave
is.
soon because she's got
That's
children
good.
at home. But
So,
my sister Dawn and my sister Angela both work in the company as well, and we have a great relationship, and I feel very blessed after hearing a lot of stories of other people's family business. My father still comes to work. He's a wonderful coach for all of us, but he allows us to make our own decisions. We run the business together with my executive staff that are not family, and we make all of our decisions collectively. And obviously, as the owner, it's good to have somebody who makes a final call, but we take the input in from all of our staff to really hear everybody out. And I think that's what people want, I think, you know, and I know I wanted that all my life, working in corporate America for many years, is that as long as you're heard, you may not know the whole picture or may not even, that might not be your recommended course of action. But if you can say it and get it out there, I think that's the important thing, and that you're recognized and that you're heard, and then we all move forward as a team to execute. So.
and what a testimony it is that the three of you are continuing to march forward with your dad's vision together. And another measure of that culture of purpose is when you look, your entire leadership team, you just said there's more things important than work. How many companies would take their entire leadership team out of the office for 2 days and they're all here? So congratulations to you and your siblings and your team for leading a culture, because you can't measure that. This is a true measure of engagement when you say there are things more important than work, and we need to take our entire leadership team out to help them not only champion our purpose, but to help them find their purpose.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that.
Thanks, Davin.
And Matt, coming back to you, there's another organization that you're involved with, and you know, this I think is awesome testimony of purpose, right? When you think about things that we crave, right? We want authenticity, we want genuineness, we want to be real, right? We don't want to be fake. And the other thing is that we also want to do good. And you partner with an organization that encompasses both of those things, being real and doing good. And why don't you tell us a little bit about how that partnership works with what you're doing?
Yeah, so another group that I helped found was Be Real, Do Good. And this is a marketing consulting group, a PR firm as well, that provides services to nonprofits and small businesses that need to understand how to communicate their mission better. And as it sounds, is we're honest and transparent with companies that are looking to do good. So this came about because I've worked with many nonprofits, and we all know that nonprofits don't have the resources that are required to make mission impact. They're not a Fortune 500 company. They do not have necessarily the top Ivy League talent coming in and showing them how to do it. So me and my partners, who all have a phenomenal educational background and a phenomenal purpose, we saw a need, we saw a gap, and we saw it was important to provide that voice, provide that message. So what we do is we go in with nonprofits, we do a learn session, we learn about exactly what their goals are, and then we help them rebrand. We help them exemplify and illustrate that purpose, both in social media, then as well as their internal marketing as well. So it's been, once again, something that allows me to provide purpose and help other people. But once again, be real, do good. You can't get much better than that. So, yeah.
That's right. So Dan, a little bit of a curve turn question here. You joked a little bit earlier about how your schedule was busy, so you weren't able to be here for all of that and everything. And you know, we tend to not realize all the many hats that we wear. And so in addition to founding the company, being the CTO, you also have a wife and kids, and there's a lot of things there that you're responsible with, because we're not going to get into all the stuff that's going on there, but I know that there's a lot of things at home that take your time. But then you also serve in the community. You and your wife both serve in your church. You're on boards. Talk to us about, how do you not lose sight of your purpose, this vision that you've been given, when you're being pulled in so many different directions with all these responsibilities? Because it could be really easy to just put our purpose on the shelf, right? We all say, oh, well, we'll get to that one day, but you haven't. You've continued to drive this vision, experience growth over this last year. How have you done that?
Not easily. And I won't say that every day has been, straight on course, because I'm human, and as are all of us. And but at the end of the day, one of the things that really has helped is, honestly, I look at the people that are dependent on me keeping my purpose and my why. And I think so. I go, again, first and foremost, I go to my home, and I see my wife, and I see my 4 daughters, and I realize that if I don't keep the right priorities in my life, then it's going to impact them. It's going to affect them. And again, I'm not perfect. I don't keep it that way all the time. But I look at them, and so even when I get up in the morning, I kind of see what they've got going on, or what their plans are, and even what they're hoping to do with me when I come home later, and that kind of helps to drive me. And then secondarily, when I go into the office, and I usually never just go straight in my office. I'm always out with our staff, and I'll ask, like, hey, how's it going? How was Avengers? Was one of the big questions going around right now. All those kinds of things, and just engage with them. And then I'll ask them about their story. Because at the end of the day, it's not just, they're not numbers. They're not resources to me. They're people with stories and backgrounds and dreams and goals. And so I realize that, and then that helps my mind kind of stay focused on, the more I stick with my why, the more I am driven by that and stay focused on what matters most, and really what only I can do within my organization, the more I'm benefiting them, the more I'm setting them up for success. And that's really, I guess that's really what the core is. The other thing, of course, is I'm sure many of you have heard about the whole big rocks and small rocks. So for me too, the biggest rock of all is why I'm doing this, and then all the supporting things that reinforce that are the things that I let kind of get into the jar first, and then after that is where I'll let all the little rocks come in. Nice to haves, or things I'd like to do that might not necessarily bolster that purpose. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. And everything, our lives move so quickly, especially with technology. It's a blessing and a curse. So at the end of the day, it's important that, that we do our best to kind of put that stuff aside and just remind ourselves of what really matters, both personally and professionally.
Awesome. Thank you. So I want you to catch this. I'm going to give each one of our people on this panel right here to give a closing comment. But before I do that, I want you to catch this. You might be thinking to yourself, okay, this is great. They're CEOs. They run corporate. And I can't relate to that. I can relate to that busyness, or I got a different set of challenges, or, they have a clear vision and people and resources to support them. But you've heard this over the last 2 days. You all have a purpose. You all have something that you were designed to do, and if you're not doing it, you should be. But we often put it on a shelf because we're too busy, right? We often put it on a shelf because we said we didn't go to school for that. I'm not equipped. We often put it on a shelf because, for whatever reason, name the excuse. But you're looking at 3 people here that despite busyness, despite not having an education or background in what they're doing, right? Despite what has happened in Detroit or whatever has happened in the economy, a local organization that's not only continued to thrive, but has their entire leadership here for 2 days because they champion purpose above work. What are the things that you're putting purpose on the shelf for? What are the excuses that you're putting purpose on the shelf for? And so I have one last question to all three and any closing comments that I want them to add to this. But I mentioned that we're going to have more purpose summits. There's going to be 4 of these in 2020. Kurt's going to talk more about that in a little bit as he closes us out. But I've been to so many of these conferences, so many. It's a lot different than putting one on, let me tell you. I can't wait to just show up and attend one day. But what often happens is we walk away and we say, yes, I am not going to put my purpose on a shelf anymore. I'm not going to let excuses get in the way. I'm not going to let whatever. And then 3 days later, we're like, oh, that was great. And we just get back into our hamster wheel and we wait till the next conference and we don't do anything with our lives. We don't change like Kurt told us to do. So one of the things that I want each of you to kind of take turns, we'll start with Joe and then with Dan. What are some of the things that you're going to do over the rest of this year as we finish out 2019 to champion your purpose and not lose sight of it? Between now and the next Purpose Summit, how do you not only let purpose fall behind, but how do you drive closer to it?
Well, I think talking about your purpose on a regular basis is important. We have our weekly staff meeting, for example, and we always bring up customer service in our weekly staff meetings because we recognized a long time ago that if it wasn't for our customer service, we really wouldn't have been able to be in business for the last 35 years. And but I like this morning's, Josh said, you know, you can't just, it's so cliche-ish to say you have excellent customer service. We design a whole system around that, though. We don't have call trees when you call us. I don't know how many of you do out there, but, you know, our philosophy on customer service is if somebody calls us, you're going to get a real live person to talk to, and you're going to get your problem solved. And we take that very seriously. So when I think about our purpose of our company, I don't know that we talk about it enough. So I think keeping the discussion alive is going to be important. On a personal side, I think it's, you know, by having my leadership staff here, it's going to be important in our discussions on our one-on-ones to make sure that my people, that I understand what my people find is their personal purpose. I think I do. I know my people very well, but I want to make sure that they're continuing to challenge themselves and that I am fully aware of it. I have a philosophy that you can't hold people back from your purpose. You know, I have great employees, and to lose one of them would obviously create a lot of change in my business, and, you know, I'd have to get somebody back in place. But I'll tell you, I'd much rather lose someone to have them go follow their true purpose than to keep them working for me when it's not their purpose. I'll give you an example. I just got asked for, do you know anybody who's, you know, who would be a good dental director for a very large, prominent healthcare company? And they're looking for a dental director. Well, I have fantastic dental directors, 2 fantastic dental directors. I offered them both the job. I said, if you want this job, I will support you 100%. It would hurt my company a lot. My operations managers and directors are going, wow, really? I said, why don't we just not tell them about it? I'm like, are you kidding me? No. What we do is, you know, they were so thankful that I brought that up. And, you know, I figured if one of them took the job, I'd have one of the best, you know, friends up there working for one of these prominent healthcare companies as a dental director. That would be great for, you know, great for my network too long term. So there's even not just trying to do good. There's even, like, you know, a good business reason behind that too. But I really believe in the people. You know, if one of these 2 dental directors wants this job, then I'm going to support them and have them go do it, and I will survive. I will find the next good person. And believe me, the next good person that comes around with me, they're going to sniff me out. And they're going to say, what kind of person is he to work for? And I hope that they can say, well, he's the kind of person that if something good comes along, he's going to offer it to you. You know? And that, I would hope, you know, continues on. And I hope that I heard somebody say earlier in the conference, you know, I meet a lot of people and a lot of them have jobs. I was taught early on that I would love to, my goal always was to own a business, not necessarily have a job to walk into every day. Because if I'm doing that, then the company can't survive without me. And that's a very dangerous position to put your whole company in. When you got 47 people, you know, depending on you for their livelihood, that's not fair to them.
That's right.
And so I'm proud to say that I can walk away, and my managers and directors, they run the business. And I hope that they, you know, I hope to be a mentor for them so that they can say, hey, look, you know. And I'm sure I'm teaching them some bad things too. And I've learned great things. I've learned great things what not to do from some of the worst managers I've had in my life. But yeah, that's kind of my personal purpose, is to be there to mentor.
That's awesome. Appreciate that. You know, when we started PurposePoint and we were shaping our values, right, the whole PurposePoint thing started with this idea of purpose and people over process and profits. And what you just talked about was a great example of what that looks like. You chose to prioritize purpose and people over process and profits. It meant more to you that those individuals were in roles that were in tune with their purpose, and it was about their purpose and them, whether it had an impact on the processes or the profitability of your business. You prioritized that, and that's what good looks like. So thank you. Matt.
So, me losing my purpose is almost impossible. I'm surrounded by my family all the time. I'm part of the Slash generation, like I said, so I'm constantly in foster care agencies, in nonprofits. I'm constantly in state government and national government, lobbying and understanding what's going on. For me, my purpose is always there, but more importantly, it's surrounding myself with other people that have that purpose. So when I'm looking for new team members, I'm looking for people that have that drive, that have that understanding. My COO is a foster to adopt parent himself, as are a bunch of my other employees. So it's about surrounding that. But I also do want to touch on, as you did, supporting your employees and giving them purpose. When I bring on a new employee, I sit down and ask, what's your 5-year goal? And if their goal is not to be with my company in 5 years, then I need to make sure that I give them the opportunity to not be in that company in 5 years. I need to give them every resource and every capability so that when they leave, they say, that's the person, that's the group that gave me the opportunity to be where I am today. And I think we had a quote up here earlier that said, talented is equally distributed, opportunity is not. I'm a person that's been blessed with significant opportunity. I've made some really good decisions to use that opportunity to do better and to give better. But it is always, when you're surrounding yourself and you're bringing people on that team, we need to make sure that we understand their purpose. And if they're fulfilling that purpose, they're going to keep you on track, and they're going to keep your purpose driven. So don't worry about just yourself. Worry about everybody around you. And I think this conference has really helped to promote that. And once again, I'm just so excited about this conference. I'm excited for next year's. And thank you guys for giving me the opportunity.
So as far as what is going to allow me to keep my purpose strong through 2019 and not lose sight of it, I think it's, I'm going to kind of add on to my answer earlier. The original reason that I kind of got my why and really focused in on it was my realization, because of a couple different situations that occurred about 5 years ago when I started the company, of the impermanence of life. And it's a deep thing, very existential thing in some cases. But at the end of the day, it's the realization that we're only given so many years. And to me, I realized, you know what? There are no entrepreneurs in my family. They all look at me like I have a third eye for deciding to take this leap. And in addition, with 4 children and a wife and all of that. And I realized, though, if I didn't, then I would be missing out on something that I know that I was made to do. And at the end of the day, that's strong enough to continue driving me forward. Is just realizing that just how short life is, and that's something that we even I'll discuss with our staff when they first start as well, and I'll even say as part of orientation. Life is too short to be stuck in something that you don't enjoy, and stuck in something that you're not passionate about, or that you don't actually derive some value from, and feel that you're doing something with your life that is giving, that is part of your purpose. So if that's the case with you, or if that's ever the case with you, tell me. We will find a way for you to either shift within the business or shift out of the business, and we'll be happy with it no matter what, because our goal really is to keep you at the forefront of our minds. So that's really a big part of it, is just realizing life is too short. So it's what allowed me and kind of continues to drive me forward to taking risks, measured risks, thoughtful risks, but still risks that I know are going to be, that are in support of that passion, of that purpose. And it truly is. I just literally a week ago, for a totally unrelated reason, was watching Simon Sinek's Why video for his TED Talk, and it is true. Like, that's the core. You want people to buy your why, not your what. And so for me, that's been, even with our staff, we want them to really own that why that we've put in place. And if they don't, or they stop doing that at some point, then we want them to find something else that's lined up with their own personal purpose. So yeah, that's a big part of it. And then, of course, again, surrounding myself with people that share that why, and that can encourage me and hold me accountable for keeping that purpose lined up, is huge. From my wife to my business partners to our staff, and they all kind of know why we're doing this. So. So I guess that's about it. So yeah, also thank you for sitting here listening to us and our thoughts and goals and visions. Thank you for having your own and for being here, in support of those. And I encourage you all, definitely, take the risks. If it's something that supports your own personal why, I think you're going to be surprised how often it ends up working out, even though it might look insurmountable. But yeah, no, thank you again.
So you have 3 CEOs up here, and each one of you is the CEO of your own life. You just heard 3 people talk about how they are doing everything they can to help the people within their organizations not only find their purpose, but to live in that purpose, to champion that purpose. And I would ask you, as a CEO of your own life, what are you doing to find and champion yours? What are you doing to make sure that you're living your purpose the way that these companies are leading with purpose? So thank you, gentlemen, for your insights today. Really appreciate it.